How did this ad make $10 million for Joe Carbo? Let's find out. Hi guys, it's Saheli and today's video is a little impromptu. You guys know that I'm a social media marketer and this means that I need to be good at copywriting because caption is a big part of social media marketing and writing for ad copy is also a part of my job. So I was doing my research in copywriting and I really genuinely enjoy copywriting as well. So I put a little bit of extra efforts where I found an amazing ad. Alright, if you are in copywriting, you probably know about this already, but if you're not, my friend, you're gonna fall in love with this. So we are gonna read through The Lazy Man's Way to Riches. This ad was an ad for a book written by Joe Carbo of a similar name. I'm not exactly 100% sure about the data, but from what I read, it said that he made $10 million directly from writing this advertisement. So I'm going to break this ad down for you. We're going to read this together and we are going to have a lot of psychological and sales fun. So if you are ready to get in, let's dive in. Alright, so the ad's name is The Lazy Man's Way to Riches. Okay, first of all, a great subject line there. There's a contradiction right in itself. The common notion is that you have to be very hardworking to be rich. Alright, but he is saying that no, you can be lazy and you can still be rich, and this is how. Alright, so the offer itself is contradictory and very appealing. The subheading is most people are too busy earning a living to make any money. Alright, and today it's a very popular quote, but this was published when in 1973 or 79. So back then it was not that popular. It came from this ad actually. And this means that he is pointing at the fact that people are so busy earning a living that they're hardly making any generational wealth. Alright, and that's so true. So it is very resonating. Everyone who is tired of their jobs, they're tired of just living from paycheck to paycheck, because no, this is America, they will fall in love with this line because they can relate so hard. So the next thing he has done is he's speaking directly to his audience. Okay, and then the ad starts and this is where the magic begins, you guys. Alright, so the first line: I used to work hard, the 18-hour days, the 7-day weeks, but I didn't start making big money until I did less, a lot less. Okay, so the writer is writing that he has been in the shoes of the person who is reading. Okay, ideally he's targeting someone who is very hardworking or who has worked long hours or who has the idea that they have to work a lot to make a lot of money, and he's turning the idea and concept over its head and he's saying that no, I worked for less hours to make more money. Okay, so this itself is pretty much shocking and attention grabbing, which is one of the first steps of most copywriting formulas, the most common one being AIDA. So it grabs attention. Okay, now then we get into interest. Okay, and here he writes so well. Okay, he writes that, for example, this ad took about 2 hours to write. Okay, with a little luck, it should earn me $50, maybe $100,000. It actually made him millions, but okay. When he was writing this, he probably didn't know that. Alright, so look at his confidence in himself. He's saying that this ad will make him $50 or $100,000. Alright, next he writes that, what's more, I'm going to ask you to send me $10 for something that will cost me no more than 50 cents. Okay, and I'll try to make it so irresistible that you'd be a darn fool not to do it. Okay, so he's directly arousing the interest of the reader. He's saying that I'm gonna ask you for money, and I'm gonna ask you for money which is like a lot more than what it costs me. But then he gives the reason why he's saying that. Okay, after all, why should you care if I make $9.50 profit if I can show you how to make a lot more? Okay, and that's true, right? We don't care about how much profit someone gets off of us as long as we are happy, as long as we are getting what we wanted. Okay, and then he gives his irresistible pitch. Okay, what if I'm so sure that you will make money my lazy man's way that I'll make you a most unusual guarantee? Here it is. I won't even cash your check or money order 31 days after I've sent you my material. That'll give you plenty of time to get it, look it over, try it out. If you don't agree that it's worth at least 100 times what you invested, send it back. Your uncashed check or mail order will be put in the return mail. Wow. Alright, this is just wow. Now, today we are actually a little bit more familiar with money back guarantee and returns and refunds and trials, but back then it was really not that big. This was not the age of so popular internet, right? So, this was pretty new back then, alright? The fact that he's not even gonna cash it out and he's just gonna return it if they don't like it was so foolproof for anyone who was buying. Okay, whenever we are buying something and we are a little unsure, the first thing we think is that what if I lose all this money? Alright, now of course $10 is not a lot, but for some people it can still be. So this guarantee actually speaks of a lot of confidence in his product. Alright, now the next thing he says, and I'm already going to give you the biggest bargain of your life because I'm going to tell you what it took me 11 years to perfect. How to make money the lazy man's way. Now he's giving a little bit of free stuff inside his marketing content. He's giving some of his real nuggets of wisdom inside this ad. So the best marketing is the marketing which actually makes the reader feel smart. Alright, so he's doing that. Okay, now I have to brag a little. I don't mind it. And it's necessary to prove that keep sending me the $10, which I'll keep in escrow until you're satisfied. Is the smartest thing. And it's necessary to prove that sending me the $10, which I'll keep in escrow until you're satisfied, is the smartest thing you ever did. Okay, he's really speaking directly to the audience. If you notice, he's always focusing on you, the audience, right? I live in a home that is worth 250K. I know it is because I turned down an offer for that much. My mortgage is less than half that. And the only reason I haven't paid it off is because my tax accountant says I'd be an idiot. Okay, so if you see his language, it's very conversational. Okay, it's not formal at all. Okay, and any good copywriting is actually pretty easy to read. It feels like a person talking to you. Okay, it should not feel like an ad. Okay, my office about a mile and a half from my home is right on the beach. My view is so breathtaking that most people comment that they don't see how I get any work done. But I do enough. About 6 hours a day, 8 or 9 months a year. Okay, so he's really giving the dream of the life that he has achieved, okay, using his techniques. The rest of the time we spend at our mountain cabin. I paid 30K for it, cash. Alright, that's pretty interesting. I have 2 boats and a Cadillac, all paid for. We have stocks, bonds, investments, cash in the bank. So this is the age before Tai Lopez and before like boasting was one of the most common forms of advertisement. So this was also pretty new. The most important thing I have is priceless, time with my family. Okay, and I feel like at this point, you must have understood that for Americans, family is actually like a pretty important thing. I really had the idea that they are not that much into like family stuff, but as much as Indians are, but they are actually like pretty big on having big families. Okay, so family is often like a pain point or a pitching point for most people who are into marketing. All right, now. And I'll show you just how I did it the lazy man's way. A secret that I've shared with just a few friends till now. It does not require education. So basically he is disqualifying all the things that people feel worried about. That will I need to be educated? Would I need this, that? Okay, so he's just disqualifying all of that one by one. It doesn't require education. I'm a high school graduate. It doesn't require capital. When I started out, I was so deep in debt that a lawyer friend advised bankruptcy as the only way out. He was wrong. We paid off our debts, and outside of the mortgage, I don't owe a cent to any man. It does not require luck. I've had more than my share, but I'm not promising you that you'll make as much money as I have. And you may do better. I personally know one man who used these principles, worked hard, and made $11 in 8 years. Okay, sorry, I meant $11 million. Yeah, coming back. So yeah, he's talking about a man who made $11 million in 8 years by using his strategies. Okay, that's like roughly like over $1 million every year. That's a lot. And this is like almost 40 years ago. So this is a lot of money. Okay. It does not require talent, just enough brains to know what to look for. And I'll tell you that. It does not require youth. One woman I worked with is over 70. She's traveled the world over, making all the money she needs, doing only what I taught her. Okay, it does not require experience. A widow in Chicago has been averaging 25K a year for the past 5 years using my methods. What does it require? Belief. Okay, so it disqualified all the things that someone doesn't need and asked them for one thing that he'll need from them. That is belief. Enough to take a chance, enough to absorb what I'll send you, enough to put the principles into action. This kind of format is actually much more common today, especially in the coaching industry, since I work in coaching consulting. But back then it was like very, very new. Now, he continues about his guarantee that they will be happy with his offer. He also says that you don't have to give up your job, but you may soon be making so much money that you'll be able to. Once again, I guarantee it. Okay, so basically he's saying that you don't have to quit your job for this, so you're not going to be taking a risk, but I can assure you that probably you will be making more money than you are currently making. Okay, and that's so good, right? Now we move on to the second column where he talks about the wisest man he ever knew told him something that he'll never forget. Okay, he said, most people are too busy earning a living to make any money. Okay, and this was the main quotation at the subheading. Don't take as long as I did to find out. He was right. He's talking about his mistakes so that others don't make it. All right, and that's a very, very important tool in marketing. A lot of people actually learn a lot from their mistakes, and any wise person would want to avoid those mistakes. All right, now then he gives a lot of what we in the modern day today call testimonials, right? He talks about, here are some comments from other people. I'm sure that like you, they didn't believe me either. So if someone reading this is feeling a sense of disbelief in this person, they are feeling skeptical, he's just validating that oh, it's okay if you don't believe me. These people didn't believe me either. Look what happened. Okay, guess they figured that since I wasn't going to deposit their check for 31 days, they had nothing to lose. So indirectly he's saying that even you don't have to worry about like anything for the next 31 days. Okay, now he's now giving all the testimonials, and the testimonials are bomb. Okay, these are some really, really good testimonials. Okay, he says that they were right, and basically it's also indirectly saying that if you send me the money of $10 now, you could be right as well. Okay, here's what they gained: 260K in 11 months. Okay, then there's a testimonial regarding that. I will just read the headlines of the testimonials because I don't want to take more of your time. But yeah, banking deposits from 0 to thousands, made 16K first time out, I'm half a millionaire, getting everything we want, 7K in 5 days. All right, these are like really good testimonial headlines. Okay, now he ends it by saying, I know you're skeptical. After all, what I'm saying is probably contrary to what you've heard from your friends, your family, your teachers, and maybe everyone else you know. I can only ask you one question. How many of them are millionaires? Oof, what a burn. Alright, so he's saying that, okay, you've probably heard from friends that money is bad, it's really hard to make, and you can't do it the lazy man's way. Okay, but are they millionaires? So why are they giving advice? Which makes total sense, right? He's really reasoning you into sending him the $10. Okay, so it's up to you. A month from today, you can be nothing more than 30 days older, or you can be on your way to getting rich. You decide. Future pacing is really helpful because the client or the consumer has been living a life. You just need to show them what changes you bring with your service, or in this case, the product. Alright, and then it ends typically with his address and then a certification about his net worth. There's a section in this ad where he talks about his past, where he was, and his current, that is what he has achieved now, which is a very common theme today, especially if you're in this industry. You must have attended at least someone's webinar. You must have seen them brag about how much money they have now and how much they struggled like 5 years in the past. And this is a very common webinar formula. But back then it was really not that way. So this Carbo's ad actually paved the way for online marketers of the future, and it's pretty good to see the whole format, the way he utilized his words. It's so beautiful. But yeah, I feel like webinar format is actually like a little bit exploited, in the sense that I remember I attended a webinar of a 19-year-old guy, and he was now he also wanted to do this like I was very broke and I was very miserable when I was young, and now I'm so successful. But the problem is, he was 14 5 years ago, and he was talking about how sad, how broke he was as a teenage student. Now, it's not like his parents were broke or something. He was broke. And I'm like, at 14 years old, like most of us are broke, man, it doesn't matter. Like, he was trying really hard to make it sound like a sob story, because I think he knows the formula works. But for him, I don't think it worked, in the sense that 14-year-old depressed teenager who is broke is like not that much of a selling point, in my opinion. So yes, it was like pretty mess. But yes, coming back to this ad, I hope that you enjoyed reading this ad copy. I really loved it. I actually like found this when I was doing my own research for copywriting, and yes, I thought that this was worth sharing with you so that you actually get to know about this beautiful nugget of wisdom. I hope that this has been helpful for you, and in case it has, let me know in a comment below about one of the best ad lines that you have read in your life. I'll be back with another video next week. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to your recommendations in the comment section below. So yes, I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye.